guys. To me, this is just a great time. It's more than just coming to church. It's more than just coming to a building because we're family, right? It's the way it's supposed to be. Brothers and sisters in Christ, here to worship God and to learn more about our purpose and tonight especially how things are going around the world, and tonight we're going to hear from our Thailand team. So we're pretty excited about that. Carter, if you would bring up the scripture memory verse, we're going to start with that. I'm going to ask everybody stand. The second slide, please. That'll work too. Okay, if you'd read with me. Then in this way, our Father who is in heaven, hallowed your kingdom come. Give us this day debts, as we have also forgiven our debtors. Do not lead us into temptation. Yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. It's Matthew 6, 9 through 13. And let's see. Lord, the light of your love is shining in the midst of your darkness shining. Jesus, light of the world, shine upon us. Set us free by the truth you shine on me. Shine on me. Shine, Jesus, shine. Fill this land with the Father's glory. A Spirit blaze. Set our hearts on fire. Flow, river, flow. Flood the nations with grace and mercy. Send forth your word, Lord, and let there be light. As we gaze on your kingly brightness, so our faces display your likeness, ever changing from glory to glory. Mirrored here, may our lives tell your story. Shine on me. Shine on me. Shine, Jesus, shine. Fill this land with the Father's glory. Blaze, Spirit, blaze. Set our hearts on fire. Flow, river, flow. Flood the nations with grace and mercy. Send forth your word, Lord, and let there be light. May we be a shining light to the nations, a shining light to the peoples of the earth, till the whole world sees the glory of your name. May your pure light shine through us. May we bring a word of hope to the nations, a word of life to the peoples of the earth, till the whole world knows there's salvation through your name. May your mercy flow through us. May your kingdom come to the nations. Your will be done in the peoples of the earth, till the whole world knows that Jesus is Lord. May your kingdom come on earth. You may be seated.
Others? Any others? Let's pray for our country. Let's remember Caleb tonight. Any others? Amen. Okay. Michael Swain goes back to Houston tomorrow for a checkup. D-Now. Woohoo! Woo! Any others? Okay. Israel, Canada, yeah. Rwanda. Brett, would you voice prayer for us tonight? Tonight we're looking forward to hearing from our Thailand group. You're the most well-informed people in the church. I don't think we need an announcement tonight. If you have a bulletin, you can keep up with what's going on. But tonight we're gonna give the balance of our time, I think, to our Rwanda group. Is that right? I meant to Thailand. To somebody, yeah. So why don't you guys take it away?
Sickness healed at the mention of you. y'all are such a part of what goes on there that I appreciate you coming to get to see, but also get to hear what it is you are a part of. We always ask for medicine money, and so you saw everybody counting there. What we're doing is this year we took 16 suitcases and then all of our carry-ons, and we fill them full of medicine, pack our personal stuff in either a half of one suitcase or a third, and then we take all the medicines, and what they're doing is they're counting them out into these little bitty bags to pass out. But let me back up just a little bit. You saw the temple. You saw what you didn't realize, those cows. There were some live cows there. You think in ranch country, they're not. They're part of their temple worship. Thailand is a Buddhist country, but they're not only Buddhist, they believe in demon spirits, and they're trying to appease them all the time. Most of the people you will talk to in the villages where we go not only have they not ever heard of Jesus, they've never heard of God. So Doug, the missionary that was here over the Christmas holidays, he takes out teams out into villages. Each village gets one visit. Then they go somewhere else. They don't go back to that village. There's so many villages and so many places that the word needs to get out. He takes two teams. One side is the medical side, and one side is the kids team. So you see a little bit of both of that going on, and you'll get to hear a little more about what that entails. We work at the same time. Our clinics are set up sometimes in an open, covered area on a school, sometimes in a community building. This year we got to also be in a church, but we also were invited into a temple. We spend the first day, we get there on Saturday, we count out the meds, and then we go to a place where the temple worship is taking place, and there's all sorts of things going on. Buddhists try to make merit. They try to make enough good to cover all their bad, but they know they can never do that. What you saw a cow there. They give offerings to the cow so they can have big good luck. Then they move over to the live turtles, and they give offerings to the turtles so they can have long good luck. And then they keep moving on, and they go to the live rabbits. They're all in cages, and they give offerings, coins and stuff to these animals. They give them to the rabbits to have quick good luck. Then they move to the statue of the mouse, this concrete mouse, and they whisper in the ear, and they cover the other side so their wishes don't get out. And they're hoping that the wishes come true. There's a platform where they're tossing coins, and as many coins as you can get on that platform is how much your wishes will come true. So they move from place to place to place. There's Hindu gods, Buddhist gods, there's Spider-Man, there's all sorts of things they worship there, but you know what's not there is Jesus. There's not anything, not a symbol of the cross, not anything. So then on Sunday, we go to church, and we worship with the Thai believers. We've been going to Plang Yau, an incredible place that has grown over the years that we have come to visit. It continues to grow. It is one of the offshoots of the Bangkla Baptist Clinic, Bangkla Baptist Church. That church has now started 6 churches, and so we get to be a part of that. Monday through Friday, we travel from clinic to clinic, and we drive a long ways. We get to a clinic, we set up in the morning, and we have our clinic stuff. The kids team has their stuff, and we go and we do our work. Then at the end of the time period that it's allotted, then we load everything up and we drive to the next village, spend the night. We get up the next morning, we set up again, drive a little further, set up again, do our stuff, break down, drive to the next village, and we do that for 5 days. So what happens during those times? The most unexpected and most incredible thing. This year we went to the northeastern part of Thailand. The country itself kind of looks like an elephant head profile. We went to the northeast side, And it's called Isan. For the first time, something really unusual and unique happened, and you're going to get to hear some more about that. Because Doug has been doing these clinics, he'll do anywhere from 6 to 8 clinics a year like this, and he's been doing it for a number of years. We've gone for 9 years, and he was doing it long before we started. Now there have been believers that were saved at other clinics who have started churches who are driving to these new villages, some up to 2 hours, to be with us so they can share Christ. And the numbers this year were beyond what we've ever experienced before. You know, usually we experience maybe we never have anyone pray to receive Christ. Maybe we'll have a few. This year, over the week, we had 112 people pray to receive Christ. Now, during that time, 1,249 people heard the gospel between the clinics and the school. 105 more were interested in hearing more. The numbers have never been like that. But it's because now the believers who have been saved on past clinics are now coming and sharing. One of the things that we heard from these believers was that they have prayed for so long for someone to come and help them. And we came. Someone else said that they were looking around the room. This is a Thai person, and they're looking around the room, and they realize here we are from America, and here they are from Thailand, that people all around the world were joined together to share the gospel message, and it was so encouraging to them. Doug told us at the beginning of the trip, he said that the kingdom of God is worthy of our efforts and our risk. We bring light and a touch of eternity into those villages that they don't have. They never have. On Thursday, we went to the temple, and y'all got to see a picture of it. Last year, there was a picture of it, several pictures of it in our share video that Valerie did, which I so appreciate her. We went to the temple on Thursday, but on Wednesday morning, the day before, Doug had received a call that they were not going to let us come to the village. Not at all. They were very adversarial because Doug is very clear we're coming to share Christ, not only to do medicine and to teach English, but they were not going to let anyone come. Then by Wednesday afternoon, they decided not only were we going to come, they were going to give us the very best spot, and it was the temple. The next morning, we entered into the temple, and as soon as it opened, there were 120 people waiting for us to begin our work. Susan and I kind of had a neat thing going on. The doctors first is the nurses' table, then the doctor's table, and then the pharmacy table is where the sharing gets to take place. And so monks get privileges that other people don't. And so they brought in the monks, the 6 monks, and they put them over here with me, and so I got to do the blood pressure and all that. And then they took the 6 monks and they took them over to Susan. Then they brought the monks back, and they got the full gospel message along with the medicine. They heard it all. And the pharmacy people get to see everything. But one man prayed, one of the monks prayed to receive Christ. Now, here was a young lady who ended up getting to share with him. And to understand what that means is the monks are so highly regarded and respected that no women touch them. Women usually don't talk to them. In fact, they never even looked us in the eye when we were doing our thing with them. Women don't. They stay lower than the monks. Nobody gets higher than the monk. But this young woman right there, she sat on the same level as him. And if you'll see, there's an idol worship behind her. She sat on the same level as him, and she said, I'm going to share Christ. And she began to share Christ with him, and he prayed to receive Christ. Well, the thing was, he had no way of getting any discipleship or growth. And it was so advantageous that this young female had shared with him because she knew on YouTube, and she showed him how to do YouTube and find discipleship in Thai in order for him to grow inside of the temple, which was pretty incredible. When the children come to my table, oftentimes they're very scared. I don't speak their language. I look very strange, dress very differently. So in the temple, when the children would come, I would sit them on the mother's lap, and I would sit there and get their attention, and then I would sing to them, Jesus Loves Me, inside the temple. I thought, these kids, they need to hear this song, the song that we sing to our kids here. And then at the end, we had praying and sharing going on, and then at the end, something we do each day is we have a time of share time and worship, and we stayed in the temple. The Christians gathered together, and we worshiped God inside the temple. It was incredible. There's so many more stories, and as you hear the stories, please pray. We are beginning to gather for our team. Those of you who feel led to go, we're going to meet right afterwards. We have a trip August 15th through the 25th. We would love to have you. Kids team, medical side, either one. But of course, those who have been sewing med bags, the incredibly important bags that we leave with them that remind them of Christ, the salvation gospel, thank you for doing those. Thank you for those who have given money for medicine, because that's why they come. When they come to get their medicine, then they get to hear the gospel. Thank you for all you've done there. But I'm excited for you to hear what they have to share. Oh, by the way, there were 9 of us. Only 5 of us are here tonight. Mike Hurt is working on the team. And Martha and Sarah Harrington actually live in North Carolina, and Megan Tedford's out of town. So we did have a team of 9, so y'all.
Hey everybody. So I was just gonna first of all share, I have been on the kids team the past several years that I've gone, and it's really lots of fun to be on the kids team, play games and sing songs with them and everything every day. But we also have the privilege of going back to the clinic in the afternoon and kind of helping out there and seeing things there, which I think you'll hear more about later. But Cheryl Derbyshire challenged us at the very end of the trip to sum up our trip into one word. So my word for the trip is passion, and I'm going to tell you 3 short little stories about why passion was the word that just meant a lot to me on this Thailand trip. So the first one is one of the schools that we went to and clinics we went to. The school was down the way a little bit, and the clinic was just like right at the front of this road. And it was a pretty rainy day that day. And so there was one little boy, though, that kept trying to come in and be a part of what was going on in the clinic. He would try, and the older elders would send him away, go back to school where you're supposed to be, and he would try to come back and be at the clinic, and they would say, go, you're supposed to be somewhere else. And he would come back and try to sit with us and be part of what we were doing at the clinic. And to me, that little boy was passionate. He longed to be with us and know what was going on and see what was happening. So imagine if he knew about Jesus, how awesome that passion would be for Christ. So pray for that little guy. I have no idea what his name is, but he just pray for the children, because they were definitely passionate about lots of things, and just imagine what it would be like if their passion was for Christ. The second story I have to share is about my father, actually, who passionately prays for the people of Thailand all the time. And I know you've heard him share about that before. The day that we were in the temple, he just had it placed on his heart to pray for 20 more people to come in, and to watch him fervently pray for 20 more people come in and 20 more people to hear the gospel message. And you know what? 20 more people came in that day. So passionately pray for the people of Thailand, and let my dad be an example of that, because he's a great example to me. Then the third story that I have to share is about one teacher that we had a privilege of sharing with at the school on the last day that we were there. He was so passionate about sharing with his children English that he allowed us to come, and he shared over and over again how grateful he was to have us be in that school that day, and about how proud he was of his children because they were learning English. I had the opportunity to talk to him kind of a little aside from what was going on with the school, and he was asking me about what I believe and about why I would come over to Thailand to share about what I believe. And he was like, well, we are very open to letting our kids choose what they want to believe. So they're allowed to go to church if they want and things like that. And so we were kind of interrupted, so I didn't get to finish sharing with him everything that I would have liked to share. But because of his passion for his children and them learning about the opportunities there are in the world, he brought us into the school. And so just pray for that teacher and for his school that his passion would also be for Christ. And so just when you think about Thailand, think about the people there and how if they can be so passionate about what's going on in their daily lives already, imagine what it would be like if they could be passionate for Christ the way that we are. So just pray for Thailand, pray for these individuals and these schools. Thank you.
Okay. I was on the medical team again this year, and my word was unexpected. And you know, at first Cheryl challenged us to come up with a word, and she said, I'm going to give y'all a minute to do it. And all of these words were coming into my head, and then I thought, no, this year has been so different. We have had so many amazing, unexpected occurrences. And so I'll just share with you some of the unexpected things that happened while we were there. And we know that when we are serving our Christ, that we shouldn't be surprised at anything that happens, because we know that he is much bigger than we can imagine, and he's on it more than we even know about. So some of the things that I'm going to share with you, when I think back on it, I think, well, I should have expected that. So anyway, on day 2, we worshiped with Doug and Cheryl and the church at Plang Yao. Susan mentioned that earlier. It's a little church that we've had the opportunity to watch grow over the years. And we attended a baptism there. The baptism was of a young man who looked long and hard to find Doug to baptize him. And the reason was because Doug had done surgery on his grandmother 20 years before and led her to Christ. And the unexpected part of that is, I don't know about you guys, but when I have a seed at home and I put it in the ground, I never expect to wait 20 years for it to pop through the ground. And so you just never, we don't even begin to know all of the things that happen after we leave Thailand. A lot of unexpected things. So that was the first unexpected occurrence. The second one was clinic day 2, I believe it was. We were in a church, and things were going on as normal. Doug was sitting at his table, I was sitting at my table, and we had a resident join us this year, and that made it really, really nice, because our lines weren't so long, the patients didn't have to wait so long, and ultimately we could share, or the Thai Christians could share Jesus with more people, and so that was really nice to have a third doc on board. But as we were sitting there, it didn't take long for me to realize that the room was unusually full. And I looked around, and there were people with blue t-shirts, the Red Cross on them, and I thought, wonder who these folks are. And I asked one of the Thai Christians, I said, where did all these extras come from? And she said, oh, that's a group of believers from a little village down the road, and they've come to help us today. And I said, hot dog, so many Christians in one room. I mean, when you got up to get a bottle of water, you bumped into a Christian. When you went out back to try to figure out where the restroom was, you bumped into a Christian. And you could see them, they were seated praying in some areas of the room. They were loving on the kids. They were helping to direct traffic. So it was just amazing to have this group of Christians that we didn't expect to come and help us. So our team was unusually large for the rest of the week. And as Susan mentioned, they followed us from place to place. So that was unexpected, but what a blessing to get to work alongside these Thai believers. In that place too, the pastor had put in the request for Doug to come, and he had a group of 10 believers. And his prayer, and he shared this with all of us initially, is that his prayer was that the Lord would bless him with 10 more believers. At the end of that clinic day, 29 people in that village had accepted Christ. And so he had not only 10 more, but he had more than 10 more to join his group of believers. I don't know why it's unexpected. We should expect that God will answer our prayers. But I happen to believe that was possible because we had all of these extra Christians in the room praying at the same time. Okay, so then the last one was happened in a home visit. Doug usually allows me to do that because he knows that that's something that I just really, really, really enjoy doing. And so we approached the house where we were going to go in. We had an interpreter with us, and we had the girls from North Carolina, and little Sarah was 15. And I mentioned that to let you know how incredible it was, the reaction that was had. But anyway, so there's a man on the porch, and the interpreter's telling us a little bit about the patient that we're going to see. Anyway, there's a man on the porch, and he's got this long stick, and he's just whack, 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 beating something. And I thought, what in the world is he doing? And I walked closer. Well, there's a snake. And he's trying to make sure that the snake is not going to follow us into the home to do the home visit. Now, that's unexpected. I expect to see snakes in West Texas. I expect to see them in my backyard, out in the field, along the road, but I don't expect to see them in Thailand. This was actually a first for me. And the second part of the unexpectedness of that situation was that we were all girls. Nobody took off screaming. Nobody squealed. Everybody remained composed. And little Sarah said, "Are we still going to go in?" And I said, "Yes, honey, I think we're going to be okay. The snake is dead now." So that was unexpected. But the best part of this visit was when we get inside, there's a lady on her board bed, and she reaches her arms up and she says, "I've been waiting for you." Well, that is not a reception that I often get from someone in Thailand. I don't get that from my patients here in the States usually, unless I'm really, really late arriving in their homes. She had been waiting for us. She was so grateful for our visit. She was so attentive. She was so receptive. We pray for months and months before we go that the Lord will soften the hearts of the folks that we're going to come in contact with. Her heart was soft. She was ready to hear. She was ready to listen. And the interpreter asked her, she said, "Would you like to sing with us?" So we sang. She clapped. She smiled. And then she said, "Would you like to pray to accept Christ?" The lady prayed to accept Christ. What a blessing. The whole trip was just full of unexpected occurrences. And when we remember the very last promise that Jesus gave to his disciples was, "And lo, I'm with you always, even unto the end of the time." He was there with us through all of these unexpected occurrences, and they weren't unexpected to him. He knew exactly what was going to happen. So grateful for the opportunity, and I'm so grateful for this church who prays us through mission trips. We couldn't be there. We couldn't remain upright and have energy to do what we do in a different time zone if it weren't for you guys praying. So thank you very much.
Hello. I have just a couple of things, and I wrote them down so that I won't forget. So I've gone to Thailand the last 9 years. For some reason, the Lord said, when I was sitting in the pew over there and they mentioned Thailand, I knew immediately that's where I need to be going. I didn't know how I was going to get there or by what means, but I said, "Okay, I trust you, Lord," and I've been able to go 9 times. And each and every time, it's just as incredible as the time before. I've worked on the kids team all 9 years. Kids team is fun. It's VBS every day. I mean, you get to go in, you get to play with these little kids, you get to do crafts, you get to sing songs, you get to run around and act goofy, and the kids absolutely love it. So for me, it's been a joy to be able to go into all these different schools and continue to see that same reaction over and over and over again. I mean, how many times do you get excited about getting to go to church and doing fun stuff and singing songs and worshiping? I get to see that every time we go into a school, how open and how receptive these kids are and how much they want to learn. Whether they want to learn about the Lord or they want to learn English, we're going to teach them both. And they're always so excited. Their eyes light up, they have smiles on their faces, which is so different than what you see in the clinic, where you see dark eyes or lost souls or just heavy people because there's no hope for them, or at least not until they talk to the Thais. When they get to the pharmacy, they have no hope. They're living through centuries of, you want to die for nothing and go into nothing, nirvana. You know, that's all they've ever known. So we get to go in there and teach those parents as well as teach those kids. And then our hope is that what the kids learn, they get to take home with them, because not everybody gets to come to the clinic, or maybe they have older siblings who didn't get to go to VBS. We hope that those little kids take that message to those that they're going to talk to at home and in their communities and in their neighborhoods. So that's super, super fun for us. A couple of days that we were in Thailand, we actually didn't get to go into a school, and that does happen occasionally. The good thing is we're all flexible. Lord, what do you need us to do? And he always provides us something to do. Well, this year we actually, on those 2 days, what we normally do is we'll either help out the medical team or we get to walk through the village. And that's like one of my favorite things to do, is to go and see and be where these people live. When the Thais go from door to door and they want to tell people about Jesus, it is shut door, shut door, shut door, shut door. You bring an American along and the doors are wide open. Come in. Yes, come talk to me. Sit down with me. They'll invite you in. That's the only thing that we need to be there for, is to get those Thai people into those homes and get those people excited. Hey, we have a clinic. We want you to come down. We've got all kinds of stuff. We can have a doctor check you out. If you need something, we can provide that for you, which gets people excited, and they come to the clinic. Come. That's all we want to do, is get them to come to the clinic, and then we let the Thais take over and do what they are absolutely incredible at doing, which is sharing the gospel, their one passion. There were a couple that actually couldn't make it to the clinic, but they wanted somebody to come, and so, we went back and recruited Susan, and the North Carolina ladies got to go and see what that looks like. So they had some really neat experiences, just because we were able to go out into the community that day because we didn't have school. I guarantee the Lord put it and made it to be that way, because he knew that those people, that lady with the soft heart, was waiting for somebody to come see her. So what a huge blessing. You're absolutely right, as far as that goes. I know we've talked a lot about the temple. I just want to mention 2 little last things. On the day of the temple, we actually didn't have school, and that's one of the days we got to walk around and invite people. That's the day that Mike Hurd was praying so fervently for just 20 more people. Now, they don't come all at once. They straggle in kind of one at a time. And Dr. Doug says we are not leaving till we see them all. And we saw them one by one. And what's incredible is those last few people were the ones that were accepting Jesus, that wanted to hear more, that were open to hearing the gospel and to praying that prayer. And we stayed until every single one of them was able to be seen. God was in charge of that. All we did was what he called us to do. So cool. So because Rachel and I, we get to sit up at the front and fill bags. We're putting tracts in bags so that they can give them out in the pharmacy. We always talk about the pharmacy having the best seat. Well, we got a pretty darn good seat that day, because, like I said, these people are coming in. At one point, we look up and we're like, it's time to pray, because there were 3 people in that moment praying to receive Christ. We've never seen anything like that in the 9 years that we've gone. And then just even a few minutes later, we look up again and there's 2 more sitting with a couple of Thais praying to receive Christ. All you can do is just stop and watch and be filled from the bottom up. I mean, your cup overflows when you get to see and witness something like that. And we got to see that day. There was another Thai, and he was talking to one of the people, and this guy was completely disinterested. I mean, he's like, looking around, and you know, the Thai is so passionate, and he's telling the story, and he's got his track out, and this guy's like, Well, this other guy comes and sits on the other side of him. He's interested, and he scoots a little closer, and then he scoots in a little closer. And by the time this Thai is done, he's literally leaning over this guy in the middle who's completely disinterested, completely captured by what that Thai is saying, because he wanted to hear. So that one guy gets up and he leaves, and then the Thai believer spends a lot of time with that other guy who was really interested. But it was pretty funny to just see like his passion, like, I want to know more. Literally like almost on top of this guy, like trying to get at the Thai, tell me more. So that was pretty awesome. The last thing is this same church that she was talking about on the very last day. There's a tiny little church that's really, really nice, sitting right next door to the school. And that principal, like she said, I want the kids to go where they want to go, whether it's next door to this Christian church or down the street to the Buddhist temple. I want them to choose. But the opportunity that we got to just go over there and love on those kids that day, share a little bit of English, encourage that principal. We want you guys to keep praying for that, because hopefully we can connect that school and that church together, and that those kids will have somewhere to go on a Sunday morning, and be able to praise and worship our God, the only God, that they may not know anything about right now. So just keep praying for that community. It's a pretty cool thing to see them side by side, because it's not normal. But anyways, it was an awesome trip. Thank you guys so much. We definitely couldn't do it without you. All the supplies that you give, all the prayers that you give, all the love, support that you have for these teams is just incredible. And God is doing big things, and we get to be a part of that. So thank you so much.
Everybody's pretty much said something of what I was going to say, but Susan talked about the blessing of having a third doctor there, so there was 3 medical. Well, for the pharmacy, that was not a blessing, because the prescriptions were coming to us 50% faster, and we only had one of the 2 girls that we do that does the special medicine, so she was really busy, and but overall it was a good thing. What impressed me most was the people from the couple small churches that drove a couple hours to be with us. And one of the unexpected things you missed was we actually spent 3 nights in the same hotel in Konkan. So that's one of the cities in Isan. It's probably approaching 1 million people, and that's where the church was. And we were staying there, but then going out to 3 different villages. Some of them fairly close together, because we went by the same. They're building this new giant Buddha statue that must be 100, 200 feet tall, and we went by that several times going out to the villages. But these people from the Balanced Church, and you saw in some of the slides, you know, they were wearing T-shirts say Balanced Church. I've never seen a group of anybody in my whole life that loved to share Jesus like those people did. It was incredible, and they were in there. It helped the Thai mission staff, because with the prescriptions coming faster, we were filling the bags faster, and so the Thai mission staff needed the help of these other people to share. And and day by day, they followed us around. And, normally we don't hug the Thai women, but on the last day, they were all coming up and hugging us, and they'd put a big meal on, and one of the Thai mission staff said they probably spent 6 months of their church budget on that one meal for us. 6 months, and it was a feed. I mean, we kept eating, and if you looked like you were almost clear the plate, then you'd have another one there. Oh, have some more of this, have some more of this, have some more of this, and it was really good food, and it was, but we were stuffed that day. But the way the balanced church, and that's how everybody should be. We should be as eager to share with our friends and neighbors as they are. That was impressive. Again, we were in Isan, and Isan is flat, rolling country and stuff. And when they say a Buddhist temple, everybody thinks of one building. Normally, a Buddhist temple is a whole complex, and there'll be different buildings. And we were actually in an air-conditioned room in the Buddhist temple. And Susan mentioned about finding out where the bathroom is. A lot of times the bathroom is, you go around the corner of the building, then you walk down and you'll see the school, and you go down the little board path between the buildings, and it's around behind it's not right there where you're at. So that's just one of the things. Eventually you don't even think about it. You just say, where's the bathroom? You find out where it is, and take your own toilet paper, because a lot of times they don't have it. Or is that one of those things like underwear that we're not supposed to talk about in church? Yeah. But I remember on the third day, we're in this place, and the Lord is harvesting. And I was standing there just watching, and I went, we're in the same van, we have the same people with us, we have the same tracts in the bags, we have the same medicines, we have the same everything. And where a couple years ago we had one person, now there's bunches of people. And I just started laughing because it was the Lord working. We got to see the Lord work like I've never seen him work anywhere in my life before. And it was I stood there laughing. Probably people thought I was crazy. Of course, I kind of am crazy, but that's fine. But just to see what the Lord was doing. And it wasn't just our team in these villages. He was doing it with other teams earlier in the year. They had harvests like they'd never had to harvest before. So that's impressive. And again, those people from the Balanced Church was started by a mobile medical clinic several years before. I don't know if it was one of our clinics, because we've been in that area before, but it was started by a mobile medical clinic, and now they're out assisting others. And so Lord's doing something in Thailand that's pretty awesome. I'm looking forward to, right now we have no idea in Thailand where we're going to be. Been in central Thailand, we've been in the northeast several times. We went far northwest last time. No idea where we'll be, but it'll be exciting because of who we're going to be with and who we're serving, and who we worship. Remember what one of Doug's favorite sayings is, missions exist where worship doesn't. So where there's no worship, that means they need missions. So we're going to have a little meeting over here. If you're thinking about going, if you're a youth and you're that age, it's, there's room for you. There's, look forward to seeing what the Lord's going to do this year. And thank you for letting us all share.
Aren't you glad you got to hear that tonight? And we do look forward to what God has in store for us in the coming months. Again, there's lots of opportunity, and I hope that you find a place to plug in, a place to support, certainly a place to pray, a place to give. There's many, many opportunities for you to be involved in mission. And we trust that God's going to open new doors to us, and we're going to be able to experience and participate in all the things that He has for us. There is going to be a little gathering. If you are interested in learning more about the Thailand experience in August, or you already feel a sense of calling to that, you'd like to help support that, this is a good time to find out what's going on. And so I hope that you'll participate in that. And we'll look forward to that. We had some of our seniors went out over to listen to some good music today. Did you have a good time? All right, good. We're glad you're back. Folks have been scattered out all over the place today, and it's been a good day. And I want to encourage you to remember our Rwandan friends that were with us this morning, and then certainly remember those that we'll have opportunity to minister to in Kigali in April. So end of April, 1st of May will be another outreach in that direction. So continue to remember that group. Let's stand together. We'll join hands across the way and sing our benediction. Glad you're here tonight.
May we be a shining light to the nations, a shining light to the peoples of the earth, till the whole world sees the glory of your name. May your pure light shine us.